2, 3, 4. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Jason's FinTips. I'm Jason Ball, and I'm glad you're here. Before we get started, just a quick little important disclaimer. Everything shared during this live stream is for educational and informative purposes only. I'm not providing personalized financial, investment, tax, legal, or insurance advice. While I am a CFP, CLU, CHFC, I'm not acting in an advisory capacity as a client for clients during this broadcast. No specific recommendation is made, and any examples shared are hypothetical and general in nature. If you need help in unique tailored financial something tailored to your unique financial situation, please consult with a licensed professional like a licensed financial advisor for a certified financial planner, a CPA, attorney, or investment consultant or insurance consultant. You can always find my full legal disclaimer at jasonball.org/legal. All right, with that said, let's jump into the topic of the day. What I wanted to talk about were 5 methods to control your expenses when you don't have a steady paycheck. And so anyway, I just wrote a quick blog post on this. Well, one of the things to do is when you don't have a steady paycheck, it's hard to kind of budget for expenses. And a lot of people aren't used to that. They're used to consistency. But when you become a content creator, you've got ads, revenues, things coming in from different directions, and your income can be chunky rather than smooth. And so you have a little bit different budgeting situations that a lot of individuals that traditional budgeting does not really fit. Because essentially you're your own business owner and you have to manage a lot of different things at the time. And these income swings can be feast or famine. So you might have a 1 month that's a great month and another month that's a dry spell. And someone that's a traditional earner might not understand that, or a lot of traditional budgeting might not actually have been set up to handle that. So how do we build a steady paycheck, or make yourself a steady paycheck that you give yourself over the years, over the time, with such a chunky income? Well, the first thing you need to do is really start looking at to determine your bare bones budget. Like, what is your essential needs? What is my housing, my rent or my mortgage, my utilities, my power, my water, my internet, my phone, my groceries, dining out, transportation, health insurance premiums, debt minimums. It doesn't need to include anything that isn't necessary, like streaming subscriptions, takeout, a travel, vacation money. It's basically, this is my bare bones, what I need to survive, monthly budget. If everything goes bad, this is the minimum amount of money that I need to continue to do my work and be able to have my housing for my childcare, deal with my incomes, my expenses, my car payment. What do I need what do I need to basically be able to continue functioning? So that is the first bare bones. And we would call that we're going to put that in what it's called a priority tier for our tier 1. And that would include, here's a kind of bare bones budget essentials for you: housing, utilities, food, transportation, insurance, debt payments. And build yourself out in a spreadsheet like this, something similar, what works for you. And then come up with a number that you need to have for your estimated monthly costs. And that's going to be the bare minimum that you need to schedule for your fixed cost on a monthly payment. And being on a variable income isn't about restrictions. It's about claiming control over your income and saying, so that you don't say, oh, I don't have enough money for rent. You planned for having a month, you have 1 month or 2 months to go fabulous for your incomes, and then all of a sudden you don't have any income for a couple months. And so we actually need to take some of that money to schedule for those times so it's not a feast or famine. So prioritizing expense using a tiered system. So you first tier, we got our tier 1, which is our non-negotiables. Our tier 2 is like our important but collectibles. This is like internet upgrades, personal care, extra kids activities, maybe some more things that you're going to be able to do that you wouldn't normally. You don't absolutely have. You could cut back on them if you needed to, but they're not essentials, but they're nice to have. They're important but flexible. And then we have the nice to haves: the streaming services, a gym membership, subscriptions, eating out, a vacation, or vacation, or being able to go splurge a little bit on some of that stuff. And so start budgeting for which level of that 1, 2, or 3 that you've got to take a look at. So if we take a look at next, we got a tiered expense prioritization matrix. Basically just kind of helps you organize everything, and you can build yourself one of these. You're kind of looking for your rent, your mortgage, you kind of list your rent, your Netflix subscriptions, your YouTube, your Comcast, your cable subscription, your phone bill, your gym benefit membership, your dining out, your emergency fund, your health insurance. And this is something you're going to need to go through and do for yourself and figure out, what's my gas bill? What are all these different little expense items that are unique to you? Most people have similar, but everyone has a unique budget. And then you're going to need to take and kind of identify, are they a tier 1, are they a tier 2, or are they a tier 3? And this way you can start kind of prioritizing your budget. Say, yeah, that's really nice to have, or I absolutely have to have this. So it's about being successful is about how you can make a consistent plan and understand how you're doing your budgeting in the future on this. So we want to automate what you can, but still take control. Because if you're trying to have to handle all these different bills at once, it's gonna make everybody go a little haywire. It's hard to keep up with everything. But if you can automate as much as you can, and if you can get a regular income, that way you can start streamlining and have to focus on maybe on the more variable expenses, but you don't have to focus on that month rent or the insurance, because those bills are automatically taken out. You don't have to go in and schedule those you don't have to go in and separately schedule those payments. As much as you can automate those fixed expenses, but that of course is given on how much your variable income is and where you are. For example, if you make $3,000 in 1 month and auto transfer 600 into savings, next month you earn $1,200, but you still do 20%, but it's only 240. So that would be an example of a dynamic adjustment into an account. So automating avoids variables of luxury expenses. Avoid automating your variable or luxury expenses, and review your bank account balances before each cycle hits. Also, you need to spend for an income buffer, and an income buffer is different than an emergency fund. An emergency fund is a black hole. I have to have an emergency that something comes up. Child breaks an arm and you have to go to the hospital. Your car breaks down, something like this. An income buffer, you're essentially saying, I know that I'm going to have high income for this next couple of months, but I have a hunch there might be some lower earning periods coming in the future. So what I'm going to do is start saving some money into my buffer account, because I know that I'm going to have some variability. Some months are going to be higher and some months are going to be lower. And this will help you bridge the gap during the slow months. It'll help reduce the need for credit cards and personal loans. And hopefully it'll start allowing you a little more peace of mind and less stress going, okay, I don't know if I got enough money for the next couple of months till that next bigger payment hits. And you can start pride for it because you're trying to streamline and smooth out your income and your spending a little. So I would start small, something like 1 to 3 months for bare bone expenses. And someone might take and only add it to a tier 1, only add it to after you've kind of met your tier 1 expenses. And you might store something like someone might store in like a high yield savings account, a money market account. I don't know if you have, as it's tied into your investments. You don't want to do long-term investments with your buffer accounts. You're looking at something that's liquidity that you can get into the next couple of days, and that is going to maybe earn a high yield savings account, for example, might be something someone might look into, but something that you can earn a little bit of interest, but you can also have a couple of days to pull it in and say, okay, I know next month I'm going to be a little low. Maybe I start using my buffer and I move some money back over that. But it's not your emergency fund. It is a strategy to manage an income buffer for high income months and low income months to help smooth out your income. You might also do a 30-day cash flow projection. And sometimes if you're trying to kind of figure out what's your paychecks, I mean, I would actually say more than 30 days, even 30 to 60 to 90 days. But in the first 30 days, just kind of list out your expected payments by date, list all your bills due, and map the inflows and outflows kind of chronologically to help you kind of get an idea of where everything's going and where your potential shortfalls might be. Now, staying proactive and not retroactive will help you avoid overdraft, missed bills, late payments, and you'll have an idea of what needs to go to help you start planning for the future, so that when this happens again, that you have an idea of what your bills are going to look like long term. And this will help give you a little bit of stability in your budgeting for what you need to do. Basically, you're assigning every dollar a job because you're a business owner. And even when your paycheck changes, your priorities don't have to. And I hope this helps you shift a little bit of the mind shift to help you thrive in your budgeting. It's not about being restrictive. It's about taking control of who you are as a content creator and being able to manage your budget that doesn't fit some traditional budgeting styles where people get a biweekly paycheck every 2 weeks or monthly. You have a little bit different budgeting situation than a lot of them. It's regular income can be is a superpower. You can make a lot of money, more than your peers, but it also can have times that you have a lot of money and don't have a lot of money. And you need to strategy and manage for those future time and expectings. And it really, hopefully, it gives you a little bit of freedom and control over your budgets when you being able to plan out and have a be okay that you understand, yeah, if my income comes in a little low this month and I do some more work, or I have something else that ends up making some more money out there for creating content, I'm not dipping into my emergency fund. It was a planned expense that was coming out of a fund set up specifically to manage the the variable income that I've got. So with that, start with a bare bones budget. Rank your expenses from a tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Um, Automate the essentials with caution. Make sure to be careful that you don't, because depending on how you have your buffer accounts set up for yourself, make sure that those are set up for your slow months. They're planned for, and you can start looking at your individual income over the years and figure out how that kind of works. Take a look at a 30-day cash flow plan just to kind of give yourself an idea of where you are, and maybe set a day once a month that works for you to sit down for half hour and work through your budget with your spouse or by yourself. And start planning and understanding you will have a real regular budget and you need a process to manage it. And with that, yeah, hopefully that helps. Once again, this is just some ideas for how to manage an irregular budget. Hopefully we'll be back with some more videos. We're going to start learning to do this. We're kind of new to the online video world. So thank you very much. Once again, that's Jason Ball, and hopefully this helps you with some ideas on how to manage it as a content creator. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.